Yo, Dr. Who's It here. Welcome to part 2 of my Thomas and Friends Season 14 and Misty Island Rescue reaction. This is part 2. If you haven't seen the first video, please go back and watch part 1. As for part 2, let's get started, because I really don't have anything else to say at this time. Got myself a soda. The whole shebang. Oh
yeah.
Shebang,
I guess I should probably talk about the season 2.
Shebang.
Honestly,
I thought it said shebag.
There's not a whole lot to say with season 14. Season 14 just might be the most nothing happens season of the show.
Not that
ever.
Nothing happens. In my
Every
opinion.
episode this year is plagued by the formulaic writing style that these seasons are known for. We are fully
There's the
in
star.
the every episode is the same
Twinkle, twinkle,
era.
little
And season
star.
13 was pretty bad too in this regard. There's quite a few episodes this season that use the same premise. I had to look up what happened in Thomas in Charge and Thomas's Crazy Day, because I couldn't remember which title belonged to which. Either one could fit either episode. They're almost the same plot. Thomas is put in charge of something, and he screws it up. And both mostly take place at the docks. It's the same main setting for both. No wonder people get so bored with these episodes. They're all so samey. The characters are all so utterly brain dead. Almost every single one of them.
Well, it's likely
just
because
so
they
these
ran out of
stupid
story
plots
ideas
can happen.
to work with here.
Here's a couple examples of many. James doesn't want to wear a lamp, so he's unable to see the other engines in the dark, and he calls them the wrong names.
This is a new concept. This one's
Lamps
not
just
as
make
dull as
engines
other
look
episodes.
silly. Goodbye, Henry.
I
I'm
love
not
the
Henry. I'm Thomas.
But he can still hear them, can't he? He
Oh,
should
yeah,
know what
that part I
Thomas's voice
admit,
sounds
but
like, right?
Other than that, it's a good
Is that
episode.
you?
What?
I said, is that you?
I can't hear you! It's too dark in here!
Edward brings Sir Topham's car to the steamworks and asks Kevin to fix it. So Kevin puts a funnel on it.
It's a fun funnel!
How
fun
does
funnel.
that fix
No,
the
come
car
on, you gotta
exactly?
admit, this
Kevin,
one's
I know you're not
hilarious.
the
This does make a
brightest
good
bulb in the box,
meme.
but come on, man. Thomas
Yep,
wants
it's
to show Sir
official.
Topham
Sharon
how
Miller
useful he and the other
invented
engines are being.
memes.
So he shouts at Percy and Mavis
Okay,
to
maybe
push
memes
their
existed
trucks
before
hard,
this season
even though he
came
can
out. Just
clearly
pouring my
see
soda
that
right
they're
now.
on the same track.
Push! The coal
It's likely
trucks
Thomas
bashed
didn't
and
see that the
biffed
cars were on
together.
the same track.
Coal
He was too
dust
excited about his
scattered
job.
and
That's just
splattered
being in character.
everywhere.
Well, gee, Thomas, what did you think was going to happen? This is pretty much every episode this year. Everyone is dumb now.
I'm nostalgic
Stuff
for the
has
Mr.
to
Giraffe
happen
episode.
because that's
Excuse
the gimmick of
me,
the story. There
Unlucky
has to be a
Dog on the
crash.
DVDs.
There has to be a silly
You're not
moment with
mentioning
the
Mr.
car,
Perkins
etc.
at all.
It doesn't
You
matter
didn't even
how
mention
we
Mr.
get to these
Arkwright in
points.
season
They
12.
just have to happen.
I was hoping to
It doesn't
see
matter
that
if the
part.
characters have
Clearly,
agency
no,
or
that
make
left me
irrational
disappointed,
decisions
honestly.
to get us there, as long as we get there. It's painfully frustrating.
Together.
And on top of that, the dialogue is just as awful as ever.
If I bounce along the track, perhaps that sound will soon come back. The sound that makes me smile and giggle. When
Yes.
I puff on tracks that jiggle. They made a very
I
funny
love
sound.
the popping noise.
It made me laugh.
I love Pop Goes
It made
Thomas.
me happy.
I remember
Who
that clip.
talks like this? This is the most unnatural sounding dialogue I've ever heard from this show. Can you just imagine what Martin Sherman or Ben Small must have been thinking when reading these lines? I hate how the characters always spell out every mistake that they've made and everything they're sorry for.
I thought a lamp made me look silly. Now I really look silly. I'm sorry, sir. This is all my fault.
I didn't take the washing to the laundry lady. Now the team have nothing to wear for the opening game. The game can't take place. And it's all my fault.
I'm sorry, sir. I've let you down. I haven't looked after the very special box. It has disappeared. I haven't told any of the engines to be here. And you
Dude,
won't be
wake
proud
up,
of me.
bitch!
It's so lazy. It's the same every single time. This is
I understand
awful.
It's the same shit.
I can only rag on the same stuff so much. I mean, you all get the gist of this. The writing is really bad, and every episode sticks basically to the same formula. Let's change gears and look at some of the season's bright spots. The animation quality has improved a little bit since last season. Not hugely,
I'm
mind
nostalgic
you.
for this
It's still the
episode.
same
We're in
angles
the
of the
woods.
engines reused
And I love
over
that-
and
I
over
love that
again.
waterfall
There's not much
shot. It's
visual variety
amazing.
in that regard. A lot of this just feels like season 13 continued. I'm pretty sure they even reused some of the same shots from that season and just changed details. But there is more variety in regards to the lighting and set dressing. James in the Dark is the standout in this aspect, which takes place wholly at night. There's some beautiful sunset shots at the beginning, and it's nice seeing some of the sets at nighttime, with the only lighting coming from street lamps and the like. Robert Hartshorn's score continues to get better and better with each passing year.
I love the
One of my
banger score
favorite
there.
themes from him ever is the race theme in Charlie and Eddie, which is from this season.
I really love this theme as well.
It gets used in a couple other episodes this season, which I forgot about, so that was a nice surprise for me when they popped up. And I really like this putting things right theme that gets used in Being Percy.
I love the episode Being Percy. They may have the same formula, but they only put... I think that's because the real work goes into the moral
And I admit it,
himself.
I like the hoedown country music that they use for the logging locos.
I like that music as well. Yep, more American stereotypes, please.
These themes, as well as the pretty epic score for Misty Island, really shows just how much range Hartshorn has as a composer. I genuinely love his work for the CGI series. And just the same case as last season, the subtle gags with the humans in the background still remain as a highlight. Although I didn't notice as many this time. Many have pointed this one out before, but I love this gag.
I found the biggest, brightest hat. The children will be pleased with that.
The guy in the background worriedly grabs his hat as he hears Thomas say that. That's so funny. I feel like Dowager Hat was their favorite character to animate this year. She notably has some pretty great animated movements and facial expressions in the
I love
episode she
Dowager
appears
Hat
in.
in this season
It
as well.
isn't that I don't want to do it anymore. Take me back to Sodor at once.
Oh, I have much more to say about her later.
Well, I love these
As far
parts.
as voice acting goes,
in my
there's
opinion,
not
these parts
much to
basically
highlight here.
carry this.
Michael
era.
Brandon is totally fine as a narrator. I actually didn't mind hearing him, though I'm kind of meh on his diesel voice.
I'm not busy today. I can take your apples to market.
Like, I can easily tell
I
that's
love.
him.
Like Michael Brandon, like he has range, but with Diesel, it's like slightly gruffer Michael Brandon. Like I can tell it's still him.
Yeah, it doesn't sound... It's not different enough from, like, the narration. But apparently, Diesel is Brandon's favorite, so it's pretty nice that they let him voice him. Michael Angelis, meanwhile, has fully entered his I don't care anymore era. Listen to how he narrates the openings of these episodes.
On the island of Sodor, the engines like to puff and huff their hardest. The engines on the island of Sodor always like to be busy. On the island of Sodor,
Well, I love his
all the
extra
engines
enthusiasm.
are busy engines.
He's like,
There
"On the
are
island of
parties
Sodor,"
and
on the
presents,
island of
trees
Sodor.
and tinsel, lights and laughter.
He's been narrating the show for so long at this point, he just sounds a little over it. Now, I did not watch all of both dubs of the season for this video. I just couldn't be bothered to put myself through the whole thing twice. But I did watch
could.
both dubs of Misty Island. I actually don't think I've ever heard the UK dub of this movie until now. And man, Carrie Shale is fantastic as Diesel. Listen to his performance here compared to Michael Brandon's.
Oh, me! Oh, my! Oh, help!
I'm nostalgic for Brandon's performance.
Me! Oh, my! Oh, help!
The US dub really missed a trick by not making him their Diesel sooner. Carrie Shale might be my favorite voice actor of the series. He has so much range.
He's one of mine
Keith
too,
Wickham got
actually.
to voice Salty in both dubs.
An engine was lost on Misty Island. He huffed and he chuffed. He hoped for help.
I just love his Salty voice, even though we hear very little of it this year. Salty's such an animated character, even in these seasons, and it really feels like a role that Keith gets to have a lot of fun with. I am getting a little tired of saying the show looks and sounds good. This is kind of becoming a trope in these videos, I feel. How many times can I really reiterate that Nitrogen always did a good job animating the show? Hartshorn produced a good score, and the voice actors are all solid. The problem with these Thomas productions is always, time and time again, the writing. It's always the writing. I did not do a list of random observations last time because that video was already running long, but we have some time now. So, I love how they didn't even attempt to explain how Thomas turned around here to leave. He just flips somehow. I like how Topham calls Henry old here.
Henry, you are an old and kind engine.
I don't know why, but I just found that funny. And
Henry
then Thomas calls him old again in another episode.
You're old and wise.
Man, why are you guys shaming Henry like that? He's not that old. And he doesn't sound old, especially in the US dub, where he sounds like this.
Of course, sir. I will take the best care of the box.
There are 2 episodes this season where James bumps into buffers while pulling coaches.
James bumped the buffers, and he bumped into the buffers.
There's 2 episodes where Topham's car gets ruined and needs to be fixed. And there are 2 episodes where Gordon gets covered in coal soot, and they use the same model texture both times. I totally forgot that this was this weird period when Diesel had a generic American air horn. Oh, I hate that. What was the point in changing that? Mr. Bubbles looks so cursed without his red nose. Makes me kind of wonder what he'd look like without the costume and makeup. Edward acts as if he has never been to Misty Island before in the Joby Wood episode.
This is a very strange place.
Even though he was there in the movie. They even showed him using the tunnel in that. This episode was written by Sharon Miller, who also wrote the movie. How did she forget that Edward has been there before?
Well, it's not her fault. She's on a tight schedule.
Boss?
I still don't get this joke. Did he get mad because Ferdinand
actually meant
said
it because
boss
he didn't call him by
instead
his
of sir?
proper name.
That would make sense if they
That's
were
the actual
corrected to say
joke.
sir after, but they don't. They say his full name. Something the engines never do.
Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir Topham Hatt.
That's right.
The joke makes even less sense in the UK dub, where they actually call him Fat Controller to his face.
Fat Controller.
Fat Controller.
That's right.
I mean, I'd rather be called boss than that. What the hell? This
No,
bit
but it's
got a
just the
chuckle
way
out of me.
Carrie Shell.
My name's Whiff, and this is Scruff the Scruncher.
I know.
Why did Whiff introduce himself to Gordon? They've met many times already, including in Misty Island. Again, did Miller forget what happened in her own movie?
Well, like I told you,
it does
it's not
make
her
Gordon's
freaking
board
fault.
response.
It's on a time
funny, though.
crunch, damn you.
This shot of Toby might be the funniest thing out of the whole Nitrogen era. This one frame raises so many questions. How did he derail like that? He looks photoshopped in. It looks like someone just picked him up and put him there.
There's an explanation for that. He derailed on a faulty switch. And he likely kept moving on the grass till he came to a stop.
In third place is a mega tie between several characters, all with one lead role each. This includes James, Emily, Edward, Toby, Diesel, Victor, Gordon, and the
logging locals. The
In
list
second
goes-
place, with 2
Henry!
leads, goes to Henry. Nice to see him getting some love. And in first place
Yep,
is
obviously the tank engine himself.
Thomas with 9 leads. That's less than last time, at least. This season featured our first bunch of returning characters in CGI, and these include Salty, Whiff, Diesel 10, and Ari Bert. Salty returned in Misty Island to do absolutely nothing at all in the season. I think he speaks in
nothing,
one
but to
episode.
work on the
and he has like
docks,
2
damn
lines. I will say though, considering how underused and chopped out Salty was in the last few seasons, it was nice that he got a big scene in Misty Island that was plot important. Ari and Bert show up and also do nothing. I don't even know why
That's
they
not
brought them back,
true.
to be honest. Of all episodes they could have used them in, they
They tried
used
to
them
make the
in
cast
the
more
one
diverse.
that takes place at the Steamworks. The Diesel 10 tease in Misty Island implies that they had Day of the Diesels already in mind, which establishes that the Diesels are all repaired at the Diesel Works, not the Steamworks. So, why are Ari and Bert here at the Steamworks? They could have literally used any other characters here instead of them.
Well,
the
it's likely
returnee
that
saw the
Diesel
most
Works
use
was not working, so
Whiff.
they chose the Steam
He got a
Works
pretty
as an
big role in
alternative. This was
Misty
the one
Island
time
and
they let
appeared in 2
Diesel in.
episodes. That's
Or
a lot
maybe all
for a
the time,
returnee
but
in this era.
you know what
this
I'm saying.
season introduced the dump that he works at, which I think is actually pretty fun. He was first introduced as a garbage engine.
My name's Whiff because I'm a bit smelly. You're going to help me collect rubbish.
So logically, there would be a dump that he takes the garbage to. This feels like a natural expansion in Sodor's world building. Scruff gets introduced as someone who also works at the dump, but I don't know why we even needed him. Whiff alone was enough, and there is nothing to Scruff. He has like 6 lines of dialogue this
he's
whole
created
season.
not only to have this another
Like,
character for
seriously,
people
who
who are
are you?
scared of getting clean to look up to, but
Let's
also to
talk
sell
about
merch.
the
Damn it.
logging logos. Okay, here's
Money,
my
money,
hot
money,
take
money, money,
opinion
money,
on
money.
them. Yes, everyone thinks they're annoying, and they are. But here's the
Not
thing.
that
Everyone
annoying. They're
is annoying
hilarious.
in
They're
these
a
seasons
stereotype on
because
Americans.
everyone is written poorly.
Only you think
in the
that
context
because
of
you're an
Misty
American.
Island Rescue,
I may
the
be
logging
American
logos are
myself, but
kind
I
of
don't
the
hate
only
them.
ones with a lick of sense. They do try to warn Thomas again and again, but he doesn't listen to them. They are bad characters, but not because they're annoying,
Not bad
but because of the context in which they exist.
They're not bad
Misty
characters,
Island
not
doesn't
because
make
the
any
context
sense,
is-
so they don't
This is
make
like
any
a
sense.
nod to the
And
Americans'
that
physical
is
comedy,
frustrating.
because
But even more
Americans
so
are, like,
than that,
tough.
I find the
Like,
logging logos
they're,
frustrating because
seriously,
there's nothing to them.
this place
They
is-
don't have any of
Misty
their
Island
own
really
goals.
is a lawsuit
They don't show any
waiting to
desire
happen.
to improve their life on Misty Island
Remember
or
the song
long
from
to
Honest
venture off
Trailers?
the island to
Who
somewhere
hates
else
Cars 2,
or
but
something.
I love Cars 2.
They're just basically along for the
You'll
ride
fall
in every story they're in, which
burn
usually
your
follows Thomas and his
skin
idiotic
in a
decisions.
world of
I do admittedly like the whole
civilization.
mischievous twins with the slightly
My
dumber, bigger brother
factory
dynamic that they
has
did with
no
them. They
help
kind of give me Lost Boy vibes from Peter Pan.
regulation.
But I feel you can only do so much with this shtick before it runs out of steam. Pun intended. Unless you try to develop them more.
We just
I mean, really,
clog your
how much mileage
funnels
can you get
with
out of a character who predominantly says
Wood
only 2
chip,
words?
wood
That's
surface,
right.
wood, any
That's
tree bark
right.
saw would
That's
stew
right.
it.
Unironically,
A
I felt the best
river
use
below
of
the
them
rickety
was in their
bridge
solo episode,
contains
Merry Misty Island,
Sodor
where they want to host a Christmas party. They actually want to accomplish something, and they need to figure out problems. It allows their humorous nature to take center stage, and we get to learn a little bit about what makes them tick.
Here's the Christmas
Wait a minute, I
tree.
kind of missed some of those parts singing that
They
song.
kind of give me Lost Boy vibes from Peter Pan. But I feel you can only do so much with this shtick before it runs out of steam. Pun intended. Unless you try to develop them more. I mean, really, how much mileage can you get out of a character who predominantly says only 2 words?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Unironically, I felt the best use of them was in their solo episode, Merry Misty Island, where they want to host a Christmas party. They actually want to accomplish something, and they need to figure out problems. It allows their humorous nature to take center stage, and we get to learn a little bit about what makes them tick.
Here's the Christmas tree.
Oh, Dad's making
Do you
popcorn.
think
I'll be right back.
that's right? I don't know.
Ultimately,
Well, I'm
I
gonna
think
wrap
they'd
this.
actually
I'm gonna
be
check
okay
on
as
downstairs.
characters if they weren't so
Dad's making popcorn
underwritten
for
and
Moon
so
Night tonight, so I'm
tied
gonna
to this
end part 2 right
ridiculous
here. All right, thank
location.
you.
I
See you
don't
on the
like
flip
them,
side and in
but
part
I
3.
also don't think they're